Hello everyone, I'm Joshna.
I'm Tejaswini.
I'm Akanksha.
Today we are here to explain about Python selection control statements. In Python, the selection statements are also known as decision control statements or branching statements. The selection statements allows a program to test several conditions and execute instructions based on which condition is true. Control structures constitutes the basic blocks for decision-making processes in computing. They change the flow of program and enable us to construct complex sets of instructions out of simpler building blocks. Selection structure uses to make a decision or comparison and then based on the result of that decision or comparison to select one of the two paths. The selection structure tests a condition, then executes one sequence of statements instead of another, depending on whether the condition is true or false. A condition is any variable or expressions that results a boolean value like true or false. What are selection control statements? Selection control statements in Python includes if else, nested if else, and switch case statements. They allow for conditional execution of code. In Python, the selection statements are also known as branching statements. It allows a program to test several conditions and execute instructions based on which condition is true. What is meant by selection control statements? Selection statements are also known as branching statements. It is used to select part of a program to be executed based on a condition. If it is true, it gets executed, or else it skips to the next statement. These are the statements that control programs in Java. They are used for selecting a path of execution if a certain condition is met. For example, you might decide what to have for lunch based on your mood at the time or whether you are on some kind of diet. After making this decision, you act on it. Thus, decision making is a two-step process. First, deciding what to do based on the criteria, or secondly, taking an action.
Now let us know about if statement. Use if else statements to execute different code based on a condition. Example of if statement. Let us take two variables x and y. If x greater than y, print x is greater than y, else print y is greater than x. Let us take an example for if statement. The if statement is used to check a condition and execute the code inside the block only if the condition is true. For example, if x is greater than 5, print x is greater than 5. Next, let us know about if else statement. The if else statement is used for decision making in Python. If a condition is true, execute a set of statements. Otherwise, execute another set. And now let's see the example for if else statement. Control the flow of your Python a program with if statements. Use them to execute code based on conditions.
Now let us see about nested if else statement. Nested if else statements in Python are the nesting of an if statement inside another if statement with or without an else statement. In some cases, we need nesting of if statements to make the entire program flow of code in a semantic order and make it easily readable. A nested if statement is an if else statement if another if statement as if body or the else body. We will use nested if else statements to check this. First, we check that out of the three numbers, whether the first two are equal. If they are, then we go inside the nested if to check whether the third is equal to them. If yes, then all are equal, else they are not equal. It is also called as control statements because it controls the flow of execution of program. C provides if else constructs for decision making statements. We can also nest if else within one another when multiple paths have been tested. Example of nested if statements. Nested if statements in Python allows the programmer to handle multiple decisions. For example, if condition 1, if condition 2, statement 1, else statement 2. In this example, if the condition 1 and condition 2 are true, then we get the output as statement 1, or else we get the output as statement 2. For getting the output as statement 1, it is mandatory that the condition 1 and condition 2 should be true. If any one is false, we get the statement as statement 2. Now let us know about ternary operator. The ternary operator in Python allows for concise one-line conditional statements. Its syntax is x if condition else y. Use it wisely because this syntax is takes a simple way in the code. It has the simple way syntax for the code as by comparing the before if syntax.
Next, let us know about the pass statement. The pass statement is used as a placeholder in empty code blocks, loops, and functions. It allows you to skip over an empty block without causing an error.
Pass statement is also a null statement in Python. When the pass statement is executed, nothing happens, but you avoid getting an error when empty code is not allowed. Empty code is not allowed in loops, function definitions, class definitions, or in if else statements. In Python, the pass statement is a null statement, but the difference between pass and comment is that comment is ignored by the interpreter, whereas pass is not ignored. Return exits the current function or method. Pass is a null operator and allows execution to continue at the next statements. The pass keyword is an entire statement in itself. This statement doesn't do anything. It's discarded during the byte compile phase. But for a statement that does nothing, the Python pass statement is surprisingly useful. Sometimes pass is useful in the final code that runs in production. The conclusion and next steps.
Lastly, conclusion and next steps. If else statements in Python allow for conditional execution of code, next steps include learning about loops, functions, and modules. Thank you for taking the time to learn about selection control statements in Python. Happy coding!